Is there anything that stands out with the New York Jets first from this offseason with the draft and some of the acquisitions they have made?
Well, the first thing is the massive overhaul at the two most important spots, head coach and QB. And as far as that goes, I have declared that if Sam Darnold, who I know is no longer your cross to bear, but if he thrives or is even mediocre in Carolina, I hereby decree Adam Gase is not only not allowed to ever have a coaching job again, he's not allowed to watch football ever again. I mean, what is the canard that we were sold on this guy? This is crap. What if Darnold is bad, but is good without Gase? That will be. I really will feel like Peyton was playing a practical joke on us the last decade. But I mean, from what you can glean from August, and I generally philosophically say that you should try to glean nothing from August. It's a lie for your eyes. 1 month long, you get seduced by this guy or that playing against second and third stringers. It's hard to get a real read on it. As I say, it's a Civil War reenactment, pigskin style. That said, you can see that Zach Wilson has a live arm, and there is a difference from watching him at BYU versus there's something about when some guys get on the NFL field, it's like, wow, they look small all of a sudden, don't they? He cuts a nice figure for as far as you can take that. I think they happen to be in a brutal division. I'm not sold that the Bills are definitely going to steamroll everybody. I think the Dolphins are going to be much better, or Tua specifically is going to be much better. Ergo, the Dolphins will be slightly improved from last year. And I think the Patriots, this is not owed to what we've seen these last couple of weeks or the Mac v. Cam stuff. I just believe that the Patriots, based on the what they did in free agency and otherwise, and the guys returning, I think they're going to, sad to say it, but they're going to be a 9-win team or a 10-win team and be on the cusp of the playoffs. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for the Jets to be relevant. But I think the Jets fans are, correct me if I'm wrong, I talked to Dan Hanzus from around the NFL yesterday about it, and I can kind of forgive. Most football seasons, if you know your team ain't going to the Super Bowl, what's the point? If you know right now our team has no chance, it's kind of hard to get into a 17-week stretch. But I think this season, as a Jets fan, if we see promise and there are no devastating injuries over the course of the season to our core guys, we have reason for optimism going forward, and that's been a rare thing for Jets fans.
So you brought up Sam Darnold, which was actually interesting, transitioning nicely to my question, which you do a lot of bets too, in addition to all the football content. And one of the bets I saw on your Twitter that you were placing was the Panthers as a wild card team. Now, what are the biggest reasons for that, and how big of a leap can you see Sam Darnold making from his time with the Jets, maybe in that Matt Rule offense?
Well, it's in the context of the 2021 NFC, which has 4 or 5 really good teams, it appears. And so there's going to be room with a 7-team playoff for someone to kind of rise up. It makes sense to me that Carolina could be that team. I just was listening to you guys a few minutes ago, what you were talking about with Tampa Bay, and it's hard to move off of that team. And I completely get it with the roster is constituted with the greatest of all time at quarterback and all that.
By the way, Dave, I did not say that Tampa was going to repeat because I don't think they will, but I'm just.
You were being nice to your guest, Ian. That's classy on your part.
Yes.
But don't you ever see like Stephen A? He just yells at people, and this apparently this equals great success. So you should yell at me or anybody else.
You got to listen to my show. You got to listen to my show because
all he does is yell.
I do.
All he does is yell.
I've been accused of the same, so I'm not accusing you of anything that I wouldn't do myself. First of all, teams just don't repeat very often, so that's a good place to start for why you don't think Tampa or anyone else is likely to do it in any given year. But he's 43. This can't go on forever. I know we're in uncharted waters. I get it, but this is still craziness. And for what it's worth, people are like, you're not picking the Buccaneers to win their division. Yeah, reminder, they didn't win it last year either. I think Jameis is potentially a little bit of an upgrade there from Drew Brees, at least the way he played in the second half of last season and pretty much the last 3 second halves of those seasons. He just faded away. So there's a chances they might even be improved. That roster is loaded. But I like Matt Rule as a second-year guy. He's supposed to be, the real deal, an offensive guru. We saw what he did at Baylor, where he really – and Temple, it was year 3 in both of those stops that the team really elevated. I'm being optimistic. Year 2 will be it. And Darnold will see the closer version that had everyone convinced until about 48 hours before the 2018 draft when Baker Mayfield ended up going 1. Everybody in the world was in a class with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. Everybody was in on Sam Darnold. Or was everybody in the scouting community that wrong on this guy? We knew he was a pick machine. Control that. Great weapons out there. Some nice pieces on defense. I kind of like the Panthers in a mediocre to poor NFC this year.
I have a dark horse to the NFC, and it's a team out west and the San Francisco 49ers. I just want to know if you think that Jimmy Garoppolo keeps his job the whole year, or he's just going to get
How are they a dark horse?
Because they were awful.
They're one of the favorites coming out of the NFC.
They are not one of the favorites. That is a really tough division.
First of all,
Seattle is in that division.
Yeah,
Arizona's in that division.
About yelling at each other. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely one of the favorites coming out of the NFC. Absolutely.
I completely disagree.
Well, you're
the
disagreeing.
NFC West has
lost.
4 different teams that can win that division.
Good for you, but look at the team. They're absolutely loaded. They have 2 very good wide receivers. They have a good
Sir,
pass
you don't
rush.
even know what my question is.
It doesn't matter. You're saying they're a dark horse.
Because they're my dark horse, because Billy Goat Brady's in the same conference, and that's really hard to
Billy
do.
Goat. Yeah, you look like a Billy Goat, but
That's fine.
Anyways,
anything
go
closer
ahead.
to Billy Goat Brady makes me a happy man.
Well, I didn't say you were the goat. You look like a Billy Goat.
That's fun. Now, if you would excuse me, I have to go and talk to my guest.
Actually, a Billy Goat has more hair than you do.
That's fun. It has more brains than you do, so if you'd let me talk to my guest, then that would be fun.
Go ahead, spit it out.
So, Mr. Dameshek, back to my question
Wow,
before
we
we so
pronounced your
rudely.
name very well.
Yes, thank you. Before I was rudely interrupted by the loudmouth to my left, do you expect Jimmy Garoppolo to keep his job, or do you think it's just a matter of time before John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan say, all right, Trey Lance, go ahead, it's your job now to lose?
No, come on. Listen, in the 21st century, in the age of free agency, I know it has happened with 2 high-profile guys who have been very successful sitting at the knee of somebody else in Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, but Jimmy G is not even Alex Smith, let alone Alex Smith twice. I guess that happened twice to Alex, but poor guy. Andrew Bledsoe. They both got Wally Pipp twice. We really should update it from Wally Pipp to one or both of those guys. Either way, yes, Jimmy G is about to join that ignominious club. He's not going to keep the gig for very long. You don't move up to 3rd in the draft, not in the age of free agency. They're going to roll the kid out there at some point. What you're hearing now is that it's going to be with Taysom Hill type packages to get Trey Lance on the field. But I think that I'm sure Jimmy G, Andy Dalton, all these vets know that their window is pretty limited. They better, if they stumble at all, that will open the window for the rookie to jump in. I mean, that I think it's that. Jimmy G keeps the gig as long as they're undefeated and or he's not throwing bad picks. Because let's keep in mind, Jimmy G's plague is he's a game manager though, and he went 13-3 just 2 years ago. Yeah, he's also throws a lot of terrible interceptable balls, and once we see one too many of those, I think it'll be the kid's turn to take over. But I like that. I'm with you. I really like the team, but on the other hand, I do have to say, point of fact, they are favored to win by bookmakers to win
Dave.
the NFC West. But
Tell
that division
him,
is. I hear you though on how confusing that
Thank
division is. What's the fun question is? Who's definitely the last place team in that division? It's hard to figure it out because those are 4.
I got money on
good.
the Rams.
The Rams?
Well, in the coverage, the Lions are going to have the worst record in the NFC, maybe in the NFL. They'll be neck and neck with the Texans all year, I think.
We were talking to the host of Minus 3 podcast and NFL analyst, Dave Dameshek. Now, Dave, there was a trade today. Sonny Michel obviously leaves the Patriots, goes to the Rams. We were just talking about the division. Obviously, with Matthew Stafford and some of the acquisitions they've made, this is a Sean McVay year for him because if Sean doesn't pull off a win after trading up top first-round draft picks, 2 of them to be exact, and their starting quarterback, that's 3 first-round draft picks for Matthew Stafford Stafford, who is expected to play very well, being that the Super Bowl is in LA this year and has an opportunity for another team to play a home game in the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts with the Rams this year? Do you think the Rams are a favorite to go all the way?
I'm buying it, and I like the incremental steps of the team. They've been around it. They were in the Super Bowl not very long ago. They still have some of those core guys, not that many, but they still do have a couple essential players. The defense is mighty. I like Stafford as an upgrade, obviously, over Jared Goff. And yeah, I like it even in that division. They're my team to go to the Super Bowl this year out of the NFC. And by the way, it will be an all-LA Super Bowl because that is correct. The Chargers are going to vanquish the Chiefs and win the AFC West. And once they do that, all bets are off.
Well, I'll just tell you this, Dave. I've said that I believe the Chargers are going to be a very tough team to beat, and I think they're going to squeak into the playoffs and watch out for Justin Herbert. So I don't know if they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think Justin Herbert is going to take that next step as an elite quarterback in this league. He's sensational. He really is.
Oh, I mean, what you saw from his rookie year, can you really say that based on, getting thrust in there after a doctor thrust a needle into Tyrod Taylor's heart just before the game started in week 2, Justin Herbert was dynamite the rest of the way there, historically great. And is he that big a drop-off, that offense, that big a drop-off from what the Chiefs have going? I don't really think it is a monumental one. However, I think the defense for the Chargers is potentially vastly superior to what the Chiefs have. So it's not that insane to suggest that the Chiefs aren't going to just naturally win the AFC West as long as Patrick Mahomes is there.
The Chargers, a team that always loses close games, always has injury issues with a lot of their core players.
See, this is the problem, Dave. This is the problem with these two guys. They always think of last year.
No. Not him. Not just me. I think of their whole franchise history, Dave. They always have injury-prone players. They always lose close games, playoff duds. What do you think is different with this Chargers team? You got the hot take on the Super Bowl. What is it?
Listen, it's a hot take enough to say anybody would beat the Chiefs in that division. So I'll stick there, and I won't hit on that one. But yeah, I do like him for the narrative. Wouldn't that be fun? Brady gets to his home stadium last year. Now it's LA v LA in the LA stadium. That would be cool. Not something I'm rooting for though.
I'll probably faint if that happens.
Yeah, I probably listen.
He'd be the richest man in America.
He's a Steeler fan. I guarantee you, Dave is a Steeler fan because he's from Pittsburgh.
I am a Steeler fan.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Of course I am. Sorry. Don't be sorry for me.
7 Super Bowls. I'm thinking they're pretty good.
We got so many Lombardi. Yeah, I can barely take a step around Pittsburgh without tripping over either a Lombardi trophy
Tom
or a
Brady's
Stanley Cup or whatever. Yeah, yeah. We do better in the Stanley Cup department than Tampa does. Although you know what, actually Tampa's doing better than Pittsburgh. Scratch all that. Cut all this from the show. Now, to answer the question, I don't have a good answer because I'm with you. Obviously, that we see what's gone on there, and it's not been one season or 3 seasons. This has been the entire millennium at least. They got the one Super Bowl. In fact, I was actually at that game in Three Rivers when Stan Humphries threw the touchdown pass to Tony Martin to beat the heavily favored Steelers way back when, and then they got whipped by Jerry Rice and Steve Young in that Super Bowl, if you'll remember. But anyway, I don't have a good answer for why this season's going to be different than any other one where the football gods, for whatever reason, I don't know what Dan Fouts or who did what to invoke such rage from the football gods that they just have to spite these guys with injury and otherwise every single year. It's got to change at some point, right?
Yeah.
The Browns beat the Steelers in a playoff game. All bets are off now going forward.
Without their head coach, too.
Right, exactly.